So this is the title. This is the offering title to Bhagavatam is universal. Um, I hope you're able to see the screen now. It was based on a lecture given by Maharaj on 28th December 2006. As I told earlier, Maharaj was many times giving class on this particular verse, even when he was much more healthier, and also in his last days. We were all surprised as to why Maharaj is giving so much importance to this lecture, to this verse. But as we kept going on, um, reading it, we got more and more attachment to this verse, and still we are still licking the outer rim of the honey bottle. So, but still, it's always good to read through. So I thought we just try to read through this. This particular uh, offering is also there in the Bhagavatam Practice Volume 2. This was downloaded from the Grantaraj offering directly. So I hope the thing is visible to you all. Maybe somebody can take the turns to read from here. Who would like to read through? That Hari Prasad Prabhu, or unmuted.
Yes, Prabhu, I'll read, Prabhu.
Okay, go ahead, please.
From in Srimad Bhagavatam verse, right, Prabhuji? That's from that, right?
Starting from there, yes.
Yeah. In Srimad Bhagavatam verse 1.5.40, Narada Muni instructs the despondent Vyasadeva to glorify the Supreme Lord's activities by compiling Srimad Bhagavatam. This is one of the most favorite verses of our beloved spiritual master, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. As a pure Mahabhagavata, Maharaj practiced this verse, and even during his final days in this material world, Maharaj insisted on the importance of this verse and requested all to memorize the verse, word-to-word equivalence and translation. More importantly, Maharaj insisted that we should try to practice this verse in our lives. The following is humble efforts to transcribe a sublime class given by Maharaj on this verse in Sri Sri Radha Neel Madhava Dham, Rajkot on 28 December 2006.
So this verse translation we can recite.
Okay. Please therefore describe the Almighty Lord's activities.
I will recite the verse then. Samapyata Vibho Samapyate Vidam Kakyahi Dukhe Mukuradhitatmana Sanklesha Nirvana Shanti Nanyatha. Please continue. Prabhu, you are reading? Hari Prasad Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu, sorry, I got disconnected. My network got.
Sorry, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll read the translation, Prabhuji, now. You just sang it. Please, therefore, describe the Almighty Lord's activities which you have learnt by your vast knowledge of the Vedas, for that will satisfy the hankerings of great learned men and at the same time mitigate the miseries of the masses of common people who are always suffering from material pangs. Indeed, there is no other way to get out of such miseries.
So this translation you have been reading. So let's read further now. This verse,
In the verse, Shruta means Vedic literatures. Shruti means by hearing they remembered. This is Shruti. There was no writing in the beginning. Father repeated and son learnt. By hearing they learnt. That is Shruta, Vedic literature. And Krishna told and Brahma learnt. So hearing through heart. This is how the whole tradition was, that father was reciting and son was learning. Then that son became father and he recited and his son learned. That is why Vedic literatures are known as Shruti. By only hearing, they learned. Here, Vishruta means have heard also. Abhadra means vast.
Adabra.
Samapyate,
Not
sorry,
Abhadra.
Abhadra means vast.
Adabra.
Sorry,
Adabra. Adabra.
I feel like in my eyes, Adabra. Okay, means vast. Yeah. Samapyate means satisfied. Vidam means learned man. Learned men are also satisfied. Ubudchitam means who are always desire to learn transcendental knowledge. Prakyahi means described.
Prakyahi.
Oh, Prakyahi
Prakya.
means described. Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. So this verse should never be forgotten. Maharaj patiently encouraged and helped all devotees in the class to recite the verse and the translation by heart. Whenever you learn any verse from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, you have to learn the Sanskrit first. Your tongue should be habituated to learn the Sanskrit. So you must learn the verse first, and as soon as the verses are there, translation will be very easy for you. The common people don't
So, very
understand.
Prasad Prabhu, Maharaj read your mind when you skipped the verse. So, he's
True,
speaking
Prabhu.
this for all of us who skipped the
No, I don't
verses
know.
and directly good translation.
Yeah, which chant, which meter I need to read. I don't know because you are expert in that. So I always take help from you. I thought to
No,
read
I
that,
was,
but network got disconnected.
yeah, yeah. Now, I was reading this just before the session started, and I was reading that part of the section where Maharaj is insisting on the Sanskrit, reciting the Sanskrit shloka.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
I thought when you come through this section, actually I didn't know that you opted to read, but when you skip the verse, I thought you would come across this point where Maharaj is straight. Nice.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So
Thank
your tongue should be habituated to learn the Sanskrit. That is
you. Yeah.
Maharaj's favorite. Please continue, bro.
Yeah. The common people don't understand the verses, but sound vibration is non-different from Krishna. So verses must be pronounced nicely so that common people could hear. This is more serious study of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And in serious study, we don't entertain ourselves by hearing different arguments or different stories. We put our heads into it and try to dig it into our own heels, and then we get this realization. This is a way to make us self-sufficient. We should be completely self-sufficient. Everything is given by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada has done day and night labor for us. Everything is ready. Our laziness is keeping us away from these things. Please shut off the laziness. Krishna willing, we shall continue to hear more
So,
from Manda in the
you leave
subsequent.
this part. This part you leave. This part header and footer you can leave as you go. I mean, I'm telling for the others also who will go reading. So, so the Maharaj is, whenever Maharaj is taking a verse, Prabhu's Maharaj, he will always go from the root, from the beginning, because unfortunately, wherever we go, predominantly people would skip the shlokas, skip the word for word meanings, and then directly want to read half a side here and there. So Maharaj was very particular that because this is like Shastra deity, so just like you are having a Krishna deity form and you are dressing him and dressing Radharani or the other forms of the Lord, you don't just dress some part and you leave the other part and go, right? Or you don't just offer breakfast only and leave the rest of the things. Not like that. We follow the rules strictly, and so because Krishna is present there, like Maharaj is telling here, it's a very important thing to note here, because how much ever many Bhagavatam slokas we read or classes we give, but at the end of the day, if you don't see that the sound vibration is not different from Krishna, if you are not convinced by it, then we won't be able to relish these translations, verses, slokas, the Sanskrit slokas, etc. So it's very important to do that. And Maharaj will time and again insist on that because um, see here, for example, if you go back to that, if we go to this thing, Maharaj is telling something very interesting here. Your tongue should be habituated to learn the Sanskrit. It's a very interesting statement because if you see Prabhu's method is Actually, in other languages, our mouth doesn't open more. If you see, for example, English or say Chinese or other languages, uh, they don't even open their mouth. They speak from the lips only. So that is why they don't do enough exercise. Maharaj would say that our Sanskrit shlokas are um, so beautifully coined or compiled that it takes care of our physical health, mental health, and spiritual health also. The physical health and mental health can be taken care even without understanding the slokas. That is why Maharaj is telling sometimes we may think that, oh, the audience may not understand Sanskrit sloka, Sanskrit verses, so let's skip it. That is not correct at all. Whether the audience understand it or not, for our own purification, we have to recite those slokas because that is the way of getting transcendental touch of Krishna, getting the transcendental touch of Krishna. We are actually touching Krishna when we recite the slokas. Second thing is, when we recite the slokas, those slokas go into the ears of the audience, and whether they understand it or not, but the potency of the sound vibration actually transforms them to the higher platform. Automatically, they get transformed. They don't even need to understand it. Just like they are given medicine by the doctor. They don't understand what is inside that medicine. They just go and show it to the prescription to the pharmacist, and that person gives some tablet, and they just take whatever the thing is, and they get cured. They don't ask what is inside this composition, why I should take before food, why I should not take after food. All these questions they don't ask, right? The doctor just gives and you just take it. How does it work? We don't know, right? So the same way, Maharaj is telling that to have faith that these slokas and all will have its impact or its transformative potency is there inside this. Okay. So that, and for that, Maharaj is telling your tongue should be habituated to learn the Sanskrit. I was telling about physical, mental, and spiritual health. No, for example, if you have to say Namaha Pankaja Nabhaya, we have to open our mouth and sing. You should not just close your lips and Nabhaya like that. You have to sing loudly. Take say, for example, the yajnas and all they will do now, especially the Sri Vaishnavas and all, they do the brahmanas and all, they will do the yajnas. When they do the yajnas, they won't have mic and all those days. So they will have to speak at the top of their voice. The sound will come from the Nabi Pradesh, right? The navel. But the throat sings it loudly, you know. So you open your mouth, you have that dirga, that lagu, guru, and all those things. Now they will actually do maximum exercise to our jaws. Two ways you can actually do exercise to the jaws. One way is by chanting the slokas, the Vedic chanting. Okay, and the second way is smiling loudly and nicely. Maharaj said, when you smile, you open your jaws, and so our jaws uh, actually get exercised. All the muscles in the jaws they get exercised. So you will at least delay the physical health issue that much to this thing. So this is one level of physical health. Next thing is when you hear the sound vibration, just like that person, Japanese man, the scientist who did the water experiment. Our body is composed 75% water only, right? Blood, whatever it is there, it's all water only. So that liquid items, the watery items, they will get purified by the sound, hearing the sound vibration. So our hemoglobin and our all other things, they will all be nourished very nicely by the chanting of the Bhagavatam, of any of these Vedic chanting, Vedic slokas. So this is the physical health, right? And the mental health also, it is very peaceful. Peaceful. Like Maharaj used to say that Sanskrit slokas have such a hypnotic effect that uh, without even understanding it, you will get the benefit of it. And another thing he will say is that that hypnotic effect is inevitably lost when it is translated into other languages. And I don't know, I don't know how Prabhupada retained the hypnotic effect even by translating. into English. Even after that, his translations and purports are even more sweeter, right? So that is how the purity is maintained. So physical health is maintained, mental health is taken care. We'll be happy, peaceful, very calm and composed when we hear the slokas. We have that peace of mind when we hear the sound vibrations and the mode of goodness and pure goodness. Then spiritual health, you don't have to even worry about. When you understand the meanings, automatically we will get a direct connection with Krishna, and our mind and intelligence will start focusing more towards how to serve Krishna and his devotees. So this is how Maharaj always said the three ways in which uh, can be purified by the sound vibration. And that is why I said your tongue should be habituated to learn the Sanskrit. When our tongue is habituated to learn the Sanskrit, then naturally we will chant. Whenever we get a chance, we'll chant. And that is always beneficial for us. Okay. You can always ask questions or share your comments as we go on reading. You don't have to wait for the end, Professor Mataji. So we'll just go to the end. The next part, someone else would like to read. I will only keep from the point where wants to read from here. Serious study of scriptures.
Can I?
Gaurav Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I actually have a question. On
Yes,
the
yes,
last part of the previous section, Prabhu. So Maharaj is saying, shut out this laziness.
Shut out the laziness. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I mean,
so that laziness is actually our laziness in reading the scriptures. Like you want to skip something, you are thinking, why do we need this, and all those things. So Maharaj is giving everything is given by Srila Prabhupada is done day and night labor for us. And one important thing is dig our own hills. I am not expanding on it because in the next part, Maharaj will explain it beautifully. Your question, Prabhu?
I mean, Prabhu, there is certainly when we feel like we had time but we couldn't utilize in reading. So then I mean, personally, I tend to feel bad that at that time I could have read Bhagavatam. So what should we do then? I mean, we feel like
this naughty mind, no, Prabhu. This naughty mind, no, it repents only after wasting the time. Doesn't caution us before wasting the time.
Yes.
Our main problem, even I am struggling with it, is that we tend to be more attentive in listening to the mind. Right. Somehow or other, if we can give up our attachment to listening to this mind, then there is a possibility, there is a chance. That's why Maharaj is telling you, you should become habituated. There are two things. One is you are doing once, second time, three times like that. But habituated means see, we wake up in the morning, half asleep you go and you brush the tooth, right? After brushing the tooth, you become little fresh. But before doing brushing, we are half asleep only, or somewhat little bit drowsy kind of whatever. Huh? At that time, you don't think that oh, should I say brush, or why should I brush now? Can I brush later, like that? Just automatically it comes down. So there are two things there. One is you make it a practice. After some time, when you do it for some certain period of time so regularly, then it becomes a habit. They say roughly, 45 days you do something regularly, okay, every day, then it will become a habit. You will become habituated. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. So, where were we, Prabhu? Sorry that I just missed.
Yeah, you were saying we need to get habituated, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so that habituated thing, no, every day you do it, initially it will be like a forced thing for you, but after some time it will become a habit for you. So when you get habituated to do that, then you would not want to skip it at all. But in order to do that habituation thing, first thing is we have to little bit force is required, but then after some time it will automatically take its course. But to help that forcing thing to be less, without the force itself we have to do, then we have to meditate, regularly meditate on the positive, uh, the positive outputs or positive um, outcomes of that activity. That is when we would be ready to take up the austerity. If you don't think about the positive outcomes of that thing, then you will always find a way to skip it. You see, suppose we are having weekly virtual session, we can always say, oh, out of so many people, this many people. Sometimes people think like that. No, I don't do that, but I'm just saying that I can, if given a time, if given a chance, my mind will say, oh, why do you want to do it? You have many other things to do. Then what I will do, I will find every reason to skip the class. I will just say, myself, I'm saying, I will say, okay, no, I have this work to do, that work is important, this is important. Very much, I will be worried about all those things again and again. So I will find reasons to say, oh, I will not go to the temple, I will not attend this program, I will skip this, I will skip that, etc. Right? Never will we say the same thing for taking prasadam. Oh, I have so many things to do, let me skip prasadam. You will never do that. I have so many things to do, let me skip sleeping. I will never do that. Right? So we are habituated to think, we know the positive things about eating prasadam. We have what is that? Engraved the mind with the positive outcomes of sleeping. That's why I say minimum you should have 4 hours sleep. Minimum you should have this much. You should not wake up too late in the night. You should. It's okay. One day you skip mantras, it's okay, but you need enough sleep. All these things we have hardwired these things into our mind. Why? Because we see that to be beneficial. Because we want to live longer. We want to have a healthy body. So anything that they say, eat this fruit, your health will be all right. Eat this thing, your sugar will be ready. Everything we are worried about, we just keep looking into that. You see, until that thing happens, you may not. But once the problem happens, once you say, suppose somebody, all right, suddenly they get diabetes, then everything that the medicine they give, we will look into it and we'll take it. Why? Because we don't want diabetes, and then we want a remedy for it. So anything and everything they give us a remedy, we would want to do it. Just example I'm saying. Why? Because these are positive things that are good. Same way, constantly meditating and trying to absorb or be convinced by the positive arguments that Prabhupada is giving for sloka recitation or for meditating on this sloka, on the subject matter. See, Prabhupada himself is saying read 1 hour every day minimum, like that. So when we keep doing it, then we will see the beautiful day. Like Gaurav Prabhu, you yourself are saying so nicely that uh, that of late you have been reading Prabhupada's books regularly, that nature रखने का मन ही नहीं लगता है प्रभु जी, like that you are telling, no, when you are when you met in Pune, right? So that you're not saying it just for the sake of it. It comes from your heart because you experienced it. So how does it happen? Because we have understood we constantly meditate on the importance or the significance of doing that activity, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is using that thing, you habituate slowly. Initially, it will be manual. Slowly, it will become automatic. To that extent, is that we have habituated ourselves to brushing the teeth to such an extent that one day, if you don't brush the teeth, you will feel very bad. You will feel it's not good, right? So like that, we should also habituate ourselves to be with Prabhupada's books. That's that. Well, Prabhu Satyam Maharaj is always insisting on this laziness thing. He would always highlight. If people are like Kali Yuga, people who are really lazy. So many times, I remember in Rajkot, Maharaj used to have this so many this construction thing and a lot of administrative things and all be there to do. And I will also be waiting for Maharaj to, after the Bhagavatam class, I'm saying, this is after the Bhagavatam class, we will go to his ashram. Sushandra Prabhu knows ashram, yes, we visited Rajkot. The beginning there, no Prabhu, that Maharaj Bhajan Kutir will be written. So Maharaj, we will take Maharaj to there, and until the breakfast, Maharaj is much later, like you eat something like a brunch sometimes. So until that time, I'll just maybe you will ask me to keep something here, something there, clean the rooms and other few other things we will do. And arrange the books and all. He will say, tell me the which are books to keep where and all that things. Everything should be organized. Maharaj. Even in that age, he would make sure that what should be where his diary should be, where his stick should be, where his slipper should be. He will. All those things he will make sure everything is done properly. So, so at that time, Maharaj will be like, after the Bhagavatam class, he'll be a bit tired. But even then, once we reach the room, he will again start meditating on the slokas and some purports which we read and ask me to open it again. And then he will, I will ask some questions, and then Maharaj will say, somebody, he has to call somebody and different places. We'll say, that can wait. We'll say, let's open the verse and we'll discuss. Because if we miss now, we will not do it again throughout the day. We will become busy the rest of the day. So, Maharaj is so, I think you're saying this thing that, this laziness they easily creep in. And procrastination is the thief of time, you would say. So if I tell that I will do later, I will never do it. So he will always say that let's do it now, right now. And when I ask for some sloka also, Maharaj will say it's somewhere in my diary, and there'll be a big stack of diaries with him next to his bed. And I would think that okay, Maharaj has to understand research all through, so why should waste his time? I will go on to say, I will about to get up, Maharaj, I will go do my seva. Then he'll say, no, you wait. We will look into that verse. And he will open his diaries. One or two diaries only you'll find out easily. Out of all the stacks, he knows where exactly they are. And he'll open them and he will say, now you read it out. He will read it out and I will write it down in my notebook. And then he'll ask me to read it again. Then he will give one or two more points on top of that and make some jokes or some interesting practical thing, day-to-day thing he would tell. And then we will go for, say, Prasada, whatever, the rest of the service. So Maharaj always taught us this thing that, procrastination should be avoided. And I am a bad person that I'm I so many times I procrastinate so badly that I hate myself for that. But Maharaj taught us that very much that laziness should be completely thrown away from our system. And normal times itself we are so lazy, but when we are actually having some fever or something, even if you want to stress something, people will say, no, Prabhu, you take rest like that. But frankly, during the illness, sickness only, we should be even more active. Only then we can surpass the bodily things. So, do you have any other points to share there, Prabhu? I just wanted to explain that from Maharaj. What we heard from Maharaj. Limited capacity.
Thank you.
But thank you for bringing me back to that. Otherwise, you would not have discussed this. So point. I wanted to say that, but somehow skipped. Okay, I think Chitra Mataji wanted to read.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Serious studies of scriptures. If you put your head into these scriptures to understand each word and try to learn the Sanskrit, that is known as digging into your own heels. It's a nice phrase in English. It means that we don't depend on anyone else. We depend on our own selves. That is required for Shastras. How long are you going to depend upon me and anyone else? You are coming here please, in my absence, also you can come here. Stay here for 2 months and dig into your own heels and show that this is the way the scriptures have to be learned. I'm just giving the sample here with this one verse. There are so many thousands of verses which are very important. We should learn the verse in Sanskrit and the translations also, and then think about it. Then speak about it. Realizations is there. Realization is there. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Don't cover it up. Don't cover Krishna. Let him speak. That is realization. This is how we should completely self-sufficient. We should be completely self-sufficient. Tomorrow I'll be there. So
I
I
will
will not
not
be
be
there.
there.
Sorry, I'll not be there here. So who is going to entertain you by speaking? Frankly speaking, you are looking for entertainment. You are not looking for the serious study.
This is some hard hitting lines from there. So Maharaj is ending it with some very powerful statements. We are looking for entertainment. Hmm? Just so true, isn't it? Hmm? When we hear some lectures, more often than not, we remember the jokes, we remember the stories more than the moral of those points, hmm, or the concepts behind those points. And it's all entertainment mainly. Even we have to speak also. I've seen many times devotees tell this, that throw in some slokas here and there, one or two stories, and make people laugh, and then that's it. Class is done. There is not much to think about, discuss about, meditate on, discuss the reality of the situation in your life, in your daily life, right? So that is a very challenging thing. So it's not something which we can live for a long time. So, Shivam Prabhu, you have a question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so like here we are saying, like we should not do it as an entertainment, but we also see, Prabhuji, we in like now we like to hear, and we also enjoy when we hear, and we hear more about like from the seniors. So what is the like difference in that and as an entertainment means we can in
Yeah, the enjoyment, where it is coming from, we should see, Prabhu. The enjoyment comes if the enjoyment is coming from uh, understanding the reality from the senior Vaishnavas who are giving classes, or are sharing some thoughts, right? Discussing with us, whatever. If it is on the serious subject matter of devotional thing and taking it, then that is not entertainment. If I am looking into that, like, oh, this Prabhuji gives a lot of jokes, this Prabhuji gives a lot of stories, right? So there is some, what do you call, right? We want to go for something other than the main core Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata message. See, I'm not saying we have to be very serious about it. We can always crack jokes, but that should not be like many times. That's what I was saying, that some devotees jabardasti say, like forcefully they fit some jokes. You know? That is, we become proud of our jokes also. That is something which Krishna won't like, right? And yeah, except ourselves, nobody else will laugh. But we will call that as thing. And then we will have to have to put it across, and then it becomes such a mockery that in that also pride we want, right? We become too proud because in everything we want identification, right? Wherever I can make people cry, identification. I am best. I can make anybody laugh. That is also identification. So I can make anybody sleep in the Bhagavatam class. Identification, right? I myself can sleep in the Bhagavatam class. Identification. Even while giving class, right? So honestly speaking, these online things and all, we sit in chairs, or in a, sometimes we stretch our legs and all those things. I've seen many times we ourselves as who are sitting in the speaker thing, they yawn, But in the temple hall or any programs in person, if you sit cross-legged, Vyasasana, you never yawn. That doesn't happen because the body doesn't allow you to do that. That is why austerity is needed. Right? We are talking about austerity, this and that. I am now sitting in the chair. I usually I don't like, I'm not comfortable giving classes with my legs stretched out or whatever. I usually want to sit cross-legged. But whenever I was there, I am feeling uncomfortable that this is not the right way to. Even while eating prasadam, also many times we eat and sit and chair and eat, and it doesn't always do good. Sometimes why we are not able to sit prasadam because we haven't practiced these things properly. Any austerity done for pleasure of Krishna will help improve our bodily and mental health. That's where this reciting the slokas, meditating on it, digging into our own heels, all these things are austerities which are pleasing to Krishna. Because we are putting in some effort for creating better environment for others and future environment, future generations. See, whatever we are reading here, it is not only for our benefit. In future also, some people get benefited as a result of these discussions. See, 2008 or 6 Maharaj gave this class almost 20 years, so 18 years before. Now we are reading this and we are getting benefited, isn't it? His arguments are very logical, very commonsensical. There is no rocket science, isn't it? When we connect, when I say logical, it is commonsensical. It is something which you can practically follow it and experience it also. When we recite the slokas, I know this Rajesh Prabhu and Rakesh Prabhu, they are missing because they are busy, tied up with some responsibilities. They will join soon. But I remember we had this Sankalpa retreat, Bhagavatam retreat in Bangalore. Last year, 3 months, we have been having, must see, two retreats before. I remember, I think Hemoti Mataji is here, she will know that we had a Radhashtami celebration. So we somehow or other magically we got a Radha Krishna deities, and then we were arranging all the Abhishek paraphernalia, everything devotees brought. And during the Abhishek ceremony, we were doing Brahma Samhita. And we were reciting Brahma Samhita, and there are devotees. Rajesh Prabhu was hearing for the first time. He felt so enthralled by it. He was completely in ecstasy hearing that. And in the temple also, he heard it once at the South Bangalore temple opening also, and he was really amazed to. That was like really an exhilarating experience for him, hearing Brahma Samhita with that Vedic chanting mode. So that is without knowing, he hasn't heard it before, but without even knowing that he was able to experience it. That is why Maharaj is telling, don't shy away from reciting the slokas because two things it will do. One is it will establish the scholarly discussions. Without reciting the slokas, if you only speak the English, then it will be more like our story. Sometimes you just say some of our story. Of course, if you read from Prabhupada's books, that's fine. But whatever we are speaking is all our stories only, our mental things sometimes. So the Aadhar, the foundation should be our Shastric references, and that will make it very clear. And also, Prabhupada also said, you all have to be lawyers of Bhagavatam, he said to his disciples. Wherever I am asking some verse, you should quote it. And you should see where it is. Prabhupada, many times during his discussions with scholars and scientists and all that, he will tell the starting of the verse, the devotees will tell the remaining, Rama Krishna Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and all other, they'll just finish off the remaining stuff. And Prabhupada said, this is how you should be. You should be like advocates of Bhagavatam. Like the lawyers in the court, they should know exactly every single Indian penal code, whatever IPC they say, no, they should know it by heart, or at least they should know where it is. Like that, only then they are accepted as lawyer. They can't say, oh, some IPC somewhere it was somebody was released, you should follow that. And then the judge will ask which somebody, where some IPC. Tell me which IPC, which case, which journal. They'll have to tell all the references. So similarly, here also we are all, in that sense, like when we have to propagate this science of Krishna consciousness, we should be really advocates of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita Shastras.
Prabhuji.
So Maharaj is giving, okay, this paragraph has some very, very specific connection with us. I mean to say, when we were hearing this, Maharaj is telling 4 years before departing from this world for all, once for all, 2006. I mean, so at that time he's telling this very important message that in my absence also you can come here. Come here means he's talking about Rajkot, because that is the place where he was giving the class. Now you know the big temple is there. So he is telling, in my absence you come here, stay here for 2 months and dig into your own heels and show that this is the way the scriptures have to be learned. So Maharaj gave many guidance to us. This is how it should be done, this is how it should be done, etc., etc. And apart from that, he told us also that try to help others also get taste for Prabhupada's books by teaching these simple techniques to get the attachment and attraction to his writings. So that is something which Maharaj always insisted. And then he said something very interesting, that don't cover Krishna, let him speak. This is something which is very interesting. We are actually trying to cover Krishna. When I speak something of my own concoction, then I am covering Krishna. Or if I don't speak also, I am covering Krishna. So Krishna is inside. As Paramatma is always speaking. We are the ones not receiving that speech, the talk, and pass it on to others. If we receive it positively and we receive it, then we will always want to share with others. Right? So that is something which we always have a personal connect towards this particular paragraph, because he always said, you were saying how long you are going to depend upon me or anyone else. He being our spiritual master, he could always say that always follow me, like that. But Maharaj was so detached that he said, you go follow your directions, follow the directions given by Krishna. Right? So that to that extent, he was wanting us to do swacheshtikam, self-sufficient. So now Chakravarti Prabhu is asking a question here. Generally, we hear that message of scriptures are very confidential. You should learn it under the guidance of devotees. And here it is said, don't depend on others. Try to understand yourself, how to correlate. Prabhuji, nice question. See, Maharaj is not telling that right from the word go, you don't depend on others. What Maharaj is telling is that now I have given you enough guidance. Now you go ahead and be on your own. It's not like I cannot learn cycling on my own. I need somebody's help to begin with. But then I cannot expect them to always catch hold of my cycle whenever I am riding. That is a request thing. So at some point we start balancing ourselves, and they will let us go, and they will say, okay, you carry on. Now I don't have to worry about it. You see, spiritual masters always are very happy to see the disciples do their own, do the service on their own, but understanding the mood of the spiritual master, not on their own thing and riding a different, a separate track. That happens when you don't even get trained under uh, trained under the spiritual master sufficiently, and then you start doing the things as per the guidance of the spiritual master and the senior Vaishnavas. So Maharaj, even Bhagavatam says that, so cheshtikam, your own endeavor. You should do Bhagavatam in your own endeavor. Because we cannot, if we keep on always dependent on them, then what will happen? I will not even think on my own. I will not follow the instruction given by the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada always says, try on your own, go and give class. He was not monitoring every single person. He was sending devotees all over the world. And he was not monitoring every single person day in and day out. You would get something, some messages, some feedback from somewhere here and there, and based on the how the reciprocation is and how the people are developing, he didn't always go by only the crowd. He never went by the crowd, frankly speaking. He went by how many more people you are able to influence or inspire to take to Krishna consciousness seriously and study and chant and service and all these things also. If you are able to inspire, then it means that you have done a good job. So we should never misunderstand that Prabhupada was looking for crowd. He was not. He was not looking for crowd. He was always looking. Maharaj will say that here. In this just a little bit later, he will say this point, beautiful point he will say. So I hope Sankalpati Prabhu it helped. So it's like and I think Piyush Prabhu has given a beautiful reference also. We read that some time ago, 11550, that flying our own airplane. That is a very interesting. The training and guidance and everything is given on the ground. But when the time comes, you have to fly your own airplane. You cannot say, oh, you come and try for me, and you come and do for this for me. You cannot do.
And we were discussing this in Prabhupada Smaranam also, Prabhu. I think it was Brahmananda Prabhu who was trying to teach whatever Prabhupada had told. Then Prabhupada told me, but your realization you share.
Yeah, true. That's correct. And when those business people, the delegates, the rich people of Mumbai, they complain. No, at that time also Prabhupada said, nobody wants to know what I have written. I mean to say, you tell your realization. They can read themselves. It's not that they don't know English. They can understand by reading themselves. And the other side of the flip side of the thing is where we were reading very recently about this Bhagwan Das was doing things after Giriraj Maharaj's thing, no? Right? Giriraj Maharaj telling that. Like a few instances he came with Giriraj Maharaj, oh, this is so easy, I could also do, I will also do. And then he made a mess of a couple of life members and Giriraj Maharaj had to step in, right? So this is the other side where you don't surrender. You don't surrender to the senior, seasoned Vaishnava, advanced Vaishnava, or like Prabhupada's thing, So when you don't surrender and you want to do your own thing, then that becomes the real challenge. The protection will not come. See, it's like this. Spiritual master will not feel bad. Spiritual master will say, okay, if you want to do it, you do it. Like Prabhupada was very detached when Siddha Swarupananda Maharaj, he let him go, do his own thing. But the problem here is, what happens is, when we try to do our own things, not following the spiritual master or senior Vaishnavas who is our guide, their instructions and all, what happens is, the protection is lost. That's what Maharaj told us once. One of the devotees, when he went away, was not coming to the programs. His mother came and asked Maharaj that Maharaj, you please somehow or other pray for my son. He is not understanding the importance. He has gone away. Then Maharaj said, I am always willing to pray for him, and I will always pray for him. But the problem is, Mata, he is not under my umbrella. If he is under my umbrella, I'm holding the umbrella. If he is under this thing, he will be saved from the rain. But if he doesn't want to come inside, what can I do? He will get drenched in the rain. You see, it's a very serious thing. You don't understand. You think that spiritual master may or may not know. But spiritual master knows whatever Krishna and teaches him, he will know. So when we leave the umbrella shelter of our spiritual master, his lotus feet, his lotus feet is our umbrella to protect us. Then how much ever we may do with our own gymnastics, with our own thing, whatever, it is very difficult to progress, or very difficult to. We may do it for name, fame, and glory, but we will not get pure devotional service. It's a very tricky thing. So, any other questions, comments before we move on? Sanchalpati Guru's question is a very nice question.
Prabhu, I would
Sorry,
like to
Prabhu?
add one thing to Shivam
Prabhu.
Prabhu's question. I mean, the entertainment and liking. So when we are getting the entertainment and when the entertainment stops, we will stop hearing Prabhuji from whomever we are trying to hear. But whenever we like, then we'll continue, even if it is entertaining, not entertaining, whatever it is. So that way we will continue hearing Prabhuji.
Yeah. The entertainment is actually two parts, two ways, Prabhu. One is entertainment in hearing. Another is the real entertainment is when practicing that what we heard. When we implement it, that's when the real entertainment will be. Entertainment in the sense, the real realization I'm talking about, not the masala entertainment I'm talking about. So we stop, as you rightly said, when the entertainment stops, we stop. But when we do our own Swacheshtitam, then our entertainment will continue even beyond the Bhagavatam. Good point, Prabhuji. Very nice. Very nice point. These are all wonderful realizations. So that not depending on others is not supposed to lead us to arrogance. It's not arrogance. Standing on your own legs doesn't mean you don't need anybody else's. You try your best to be. We definitely need other support. If you don't read yourself, how will you ask questions? See, now you're all reading these phrases. Now you're asking questions. If I only simply read, then it will be mechanical. You'll hear, but you will not ask that many questions. You see? So we have to go do our own endeavors. That's what is a real vital thing. Okay, so let's move on. Is any other
Prabhuji,
feel
one
free to ask?
question.
Yes, Madhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This about the self-realization, about this realization part, that is the realization. When it's saying that that sentence, that realizations are there, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Don't cover it up. Don't cover Krishna. Let him speak. So let him speak, meaning we. How can we stop Krishna from talking from the heart? I mean, how do we understand that? Meaning, is it that we stop him, or
When we don't listen to him, we stop his speech, Namataji. See, this let him speak is not only for him, let him speak to others. We think by default when we hear the statement, the first our understanding goes normally is that, oh, we should let Krishna speak to the audience. Isn't it?
yes.
That's what we normally understand as. Actually, that is not the first step. That is the second step. The first step is let him speak to us. We are not allowing him to speak to us. In other words, we are not hearing. If you are not allowing means you don't bahirmukha. When we are turning our face away from, see, somebody is giving class. If everybody is turning their back and turning the other side, facing the other side, will the speaker be able to speak?
No.
Even if they are able to hear, the speaker will not feel like speaking, isn't it? Nobody is turning their. Imagine in some Bhagavatam class, we should try and see how it feels. Turn 180 degree at the other, all the audience, they turn their back to the speaker and do something else. I feel like that's what we are doing to Krishna. So when Krishna is speaking as Paramatma, that is where digging into our own heels. Digging into our own heels means you meditate on it, see what Krishna wanted to tell through this, what Prabhupada is trying to tell in this. Like this, so 2 minutes you spend minimum time. Actually, we are reading Maharaj's lecture. In this only, so many points are there. They're asking so many questions. Why is Maharaj saying like this? Why he is saying don't cover Krishna like that? I think Sachinandra Prabhuji also is beautifully saying some point. Not is a point. It's been some time to go. Not allowing to speak means not hearing. Yes. When we are not hearing, automatically we are not allowing the other person to speak. Right? We are telling that other person's mind that no, I'm not interested in hearing you. Right? Like I suppose our body language also many times do that. Like suppose somebody is talking, I just keep browsing my phone. Then it naturally means that I'm not listening to that person. I'm not looking into the eye to eye to speak. When the other person is speaking, I should look into his eyes, or I should show my commitment by writing down my notes. If I'm not looking at the speaker, I should be looking at my notebook. Nothing else should be the place where it is our eyes are getting deviated. Right? So all these are indications, body language also, right? So first of all, we should allow Krishna to speak to us. Then that message, when we experience, we'll be able to speak to others the same language. Same experience, right? So I hope that helps, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Nice.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy that nice questions are coming. So Maharaj was always insisting on this one point, that go for serious study. It's very important to do the serious study. Otherwise, we will just stop at body level only. All this reading and all will stop at body. It will not go up to the Atma. If it has to go impact the Atma, we should go from entertainment point to enlightenment point, transformation point. So yeah, Piyush Prabhu is giving a nice realization here. We are actually afraid of facing our faults, which Krishna wants to tell us to transform or to transform us. Yeah, that's why we don't want to read. Bhagavatam talks about death directly. It reveals it's shown very nice scenic. I mean to say the picturization of people, death, the people surrounding that, and they are very sad, crying, or somebody killing and telling lies, whatever. All those things. A lot of things what we do is all in reality picturized in Bhagavatam. Right? That is why and Prabhupada is on top of it, Prabhupada is literally putting everything bare naked. All the things in our mind, he knows. He's putting in the purpose and thing, translations, right?
I'm remembering that purport Prabhuji you shared long back. All the material desires.
That, naked, lay bare
Yeah.
naked. We remember we read it for a few times, like few sessions we read. Just 2-3 lines it was actually. No, we read it in that in Balaji Hall. We read it in Pune. We read the Mahabharata, the 15th chapter. This comes in that chapter, It was amazing, really. And so many places, so many times we have read it. And I know on Sachinandra Prabhu's Navi Mumbai group, Kargar group, also we read it once. I hope he remembers it. 2 years ago, we read that. He's also there. Sachinandra Prabhu is there, I think. Yeah, he's there. Yeah, that particular verse is so nice. It is lay bare naked. Piyush Prabhu had immediately quoted. He's our chat, our message man. Anything you say immediately, he will quote it there. This is the purport which he shared. No? Can somebody read this out? Very nice. The chat he has put it.
Material desires in the mind are the trash of material contamination. By such contamination, the living being is faced with so many compatible and incompatible things that discourage the very existence of spiritual identity. Birth after birth, the conditioned souls is entrapped.
Before we go to that statement, Prabhu, we should understand what is compatible and incompatible things. That itself will take a long time to meditate. See, Prabhupada is putting some words, some phrase here. For this phrase, no, you can think of everything that is connected with you. Compatible, nice cotton bed. Compatible, nice flat on the top of a big. Incompatible, lying on the floor. are incompatible, not having prasadam, not able to get prasadam, I like prasadam. Like this, a whole world of things can be put inside this incompatible compatibilities. That's the beauty of Prabhupada. It's like, how should I say, if you know IT parlor, they'll have this template. They may, isn't it Excel template and all they make, right? So once a template is made, with that you can make thousands of files. You can make any number of times you can iteration you can do. Like that, purpose is a template. It can be fit in with any kind of scenarios and any age. The same purpose will make different sense at 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, 80 years, 60 years, whatever it is, according to the age. Just that one phrase, we can keep on thinking about it. And any time you have, you can go to this. Please, now continue.
With so many
Birth
compatible
after
and
birth.
things discouraging. Birth after birth, the conditioned soul is entrapped with so many pleasing and displeasing elements.
Now again,
which are
compatible, incompatible, like pleasing and displeasing also you can keep thinking about it. Priya, Priya, Labha, Labho, Jaya, Jayo. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita.
which are all false and temporary. They accumulate due to our reactions to material desires. But when we get in touch with the transcendental Lord in his variegated energy by the devotional service, the naked form of all material desires become manifest, and the intelligence of the living being is pacified in its true color.
Did you understand? Did you realize that there is no full stop at all from they accumulated to true color? A long sentence actually. How much loaded actually? And I deliberately I don't want to look into. I mean I don't want to highlight this, but then this naked forms of material disease what we were discussing for a long time. If you remember, intelligence of the living is specified in its true color. It's so nice, really, isn't it? 115:29 purport it is.
As soon as Arjuna turned his attention toward the instruction of the Lord, as they are inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita, his true
See,
color
this is the thing. Turning his attention towards the instructions of the Lord means listening to Paramatma. Antarmukha.
As they are inculcated in the Bhagavad Gita, his true color of eternal association with the Lord became manifest, and thus he felt freed from all material contamination.
This is the way to get freed from all material contamination. So nice, no? Thank you, Piyush Prabhu, for quoting that. See how we are going from this to there. Nice reference. And after that, we have read only one part, and the second part we read only one paragraph. Okay. Was it Chitra Mataji was reading? Maybe we can read the next two paragraphs and little discussion.
Yes, Prabhuji. Somebody wants to read, Prabhuji?
No, you
Yeah.
complete. So just 2-3 paragraphs, so you can.
Devotional service must depend upon the foreground of knowledge combined with detachment from material association, and it must be fixed by the oral reception. By the oral reception, you have fixed the knowledge, and now the students must be seriously inquisitive. You should be seriously inquisitive. Seriousness means to go to each word. In Sanskrit language, half the words are words in our own language. So why don't you dig into your own heels? Why don't you try these things and ask me questions about how to do it? It is not that I go on speaking and you go on hearing. No, this is not the way, son. That's why we have to do these things, scrutinizing, study. Those students who are seriously inquisitive can realize the supreme absolute truth.
So this
Otherwise,
particular thing, Maharaj is based on a particular sentence in the purport of 1-2-12. And Maharaj made us all learn it by heart, Sakshata Dana Munayo Jnana Vairagitya Pashyanti Atmanichatmanam Bhaktyashrita Grihitaya. In that, there is one line in the middle of the purport, devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Suti, is the only perfect method by which a seriously inquisitive student can realize the absolute truth. And that is what Maharaj is paraphrasing there, expanding that a little bit. So this particular line, Maharaj said, this is the definition of devotional service, based on the foreground of full knowledge. Not like I'm just doing a Sahaja thing. Your foreground must be there. You always give the example of how a house with a nice foreground looks very more beautiful than a house which doesn't have anything. You have a house and then immediately the road is there, it doesn't look good, it doesn't look nice. You go to the beach side and you see the villas or some front side, there is some nice lawns and other things they have made. Then it looks much, much more nice. So that is how foreground of knowledge always gives the embellishment to the devotional service. So devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association. This detachment must be there, knowledge and detachment, right? Detachment from material association. That alone is not enough. Then he is going further. Material association combined with and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, that is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. Our Vedanta Shruti, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and our whatever we have, right, is the only perfect method by which a seriously inquisitive, we are all seriously inquisitive, but how do we realize absolute truth? By following these things. Your devotional service is based on the knowledge and detachment and fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti. These three things. Maharaj always liked that, and he always made us learn it by heart and understand it also properly. And that's what he's expanding here. In Sanskrit, half the words are words in our own language. So Maharaj was telling in the last paragraph about you are not looking for the serious study, isn't it? And now he is explaining what seriousness means. Seriousness means go to each word. In Sanskrit language, half the words are words in the language. So why don't you dig into your own heels? Means after reading that one word, like say for example, if you remember, we meditated on this phrase oral reception. Remember? If you say don't meditate on it, automatically you just move on. But this meditating on it is digging into your own heels. Like we took the word oral, we took the word reception, then we said, oh, what are different types of reception, right? And then we did the same thing with a few other words also, phrases also, right? So these are all ways of serious inquisitive thing and digging into our own things. Then when we do this only, we can ask questions. Saying Maharaj saying, why don't you try this and ask me a question about how to do it? This is the thing. Maharaj is very strong in this lecture. Very straightforward and very, firing actually. So let's read the next one and then we'll have a little discussion.
Otherwise, serious inquisitiveness is absent. Then even if you hang yourself upside down, even then you will not be able to, you'll not realize. And if you don't realize, then what is the use of spending time like this? Prabhupada was always telling, if you even one becomes a pure devotee in the whole lot, then I will think that my endeavors are successful. He did so much labor for us, and he was just looking for one pure devotee. Please try to be that pure devotee by following these things, and that's why I am forcing you to understand this verse, which is the easiest and most effective for common preaching. And apart from preaching, we should preach this to our own selves because we are also suffering.
Yeah. So that is the concluding message, right? In that particular part of the. It's actually one full lecture. We put it in parts because we didn't want to make it too long. So that's how we normally do, divide it into sections. So any questions, comments, Prabhu? We just read two parts of it. We'll read the remainings also, but in the coming weeks, coming sessions. But we just read two parts of it to meditate deeper. I know we went a little slow, but then it was because it is also loaded. So it's always good to go slow and deeper. If you want to go deeper, you need to go slower. Any questions, comments? Hariprasad Prabhu was saying something, but you were saying in mute.
Am I audible now, Prabhu? Am I
Yes,
audible?
Prabhu.
Yeah,
Yes.
so wonderful. You just give the importance of how to recite the verse and how important it is. So that is understood, Prabhuji. So hereby we will also learn along with you. We'll recite. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we all help each other, Prabhu. Thank you. We saw two hands going up. One is Shivam Prabhu and another is Krishnavani Mataji. Shivam Prabhu, would you like to go first?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, I wanted to ask, I don't know whether it is right way, but I'm sorry if it is wrong, but
No, Prabhuji,
I
don't worry.
saw Prabhu.
There's no wrong
Yeah.
ways.
I saw Prabhu, like, many people actually who actually quote many shastras, and means what I felt that means just by reading the more scripture, I saw like people get so much pride also, and they try to cross others with their own quotes from the shastras. So I don't know whether it is the right way or attitude, or is this a kind of pride, or is this a right of attitude to correct others? How we actually
That's
take it
why
this way?
that's why we have to dig into our own heels, Prabhu. They are not doing the digging into their own heels. There is a expectation or a hankering for pride and name and fame. Like, I want to defeat this person with quoting this shloka, that shloka, etc. Rupa Goswami was such a learned scholar. When that Keshav Kashmiri came to came and found some fault with this thing, he just simply said, "Okay, I will correct it. Please find out the fault." He could have easily gone, and he was the one who was writing. Could have easily gone and explained to him that this is that it is actually. He said, "Doesn't matter." Or some his point of view is that. So what's the problem, right? So many times that's why if you see Prabhupada also Prabhu, while on the one side he was blasting this other worships like demigod worships or impersonal Brahman worship and all that. There are other places where he would tell, like today I was reading one place where he said the demigod worship is not wrong. He says, as long as you understand the right position. If you worship Shiva as a Vaishnava, then you are okay, perfectly fine. If you worship him independently, saying that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, that he himself doesn't like. Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went to Kashi Vishwanath temple. Who's to stop that? He himself, yes, as Gopeshwara Mahadev. Gopeshwara Mahadev is there in Vrindavan, Shakleshwar, Gopeshwar. Right? So I hope that helps, Prabhu. So it is because of the undigested, like the undigested food creates the fat, like that. The undigested knowledge creates this pride. This Ravan was the best this thing expert in Vedas. So even the demigods, when they were doing yajnas, they will call Ravan to come and chant Vedas. Same thing with Hiranyakashipu also. But Hiranyakashipu had all the knowledge, but it was not digested. It also that which is digested goes into the heart. That which is undigested goes to the intestine. Undigested, right? So that's why Narasimha Bhagavan, when he killed him, he tore open the stomach. He threw the heart somewhere because in heart to know Krishna. He threw the liver, liver, kidney, and all different places. But intestine he took and he put it as garland. He didn't let it touch the ground because all the Vedic knowledge was in the intestine. It is not in the other places because it was not digested. Even the undigested also, Narasimha accepted how much merciful he is. But it is still there, sitting there. So the Pujari, if you go to Ahobilam and take darshan of Jwala Narasimha, they will explain it so very nicely. In Jwala Narasimha, they will say, because the Lord will be so ugra form, sitting like this, and Hiranyakashipu will be lying down with all the garland of the intestine be there on. So he could have taken the heart also and put somewhere else. It's the same thing, but there was no Krishna there. All Krishna was settled in intestine. Everything was undigested. So that is what knowledge is That is why it turns into realization. That is why in Brahma's case, because Krishna gave the knowledge of thing, absolute truth in the heart, Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviya. So that Brahma means Veda. Hridaya means in the Hridaya, in the heart he gave the knowledge. That is why it stayed as realization with Brahma forever. Does that help, Prabhu? Nice question, Prabhu. Krishnavadi Mataji raised her hand, but I don't know if she's there.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Wonderful class, Prabhuji, as usual, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam,
Good to see you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. After a long time.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, the class which you took on Ashwatthama, no? Very beautiful class, Prabhuji, because so many times I heard the pastime, but the way you told it is very different, Prabhuji. So many lessons I learned from that class, Prabhuji. So I would like to thank you for that class, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
And
I don't know what I spoke, but it is pleasing.
No,
because
you,
there must be some
many lessons are there, Prabhuji. One more thing, Prabhuji, Sanatan Goswami's first class, that YouTube link, I'm not able to find.
But it
Could you
should be
tell
there.
Mataji?
I think others had it. 3 parts we did. Divya Mataji, she only put it there. I think all 3 of them are there. I will ask her.
2 and 3 are there.
One also.
Okay. And would you continue the same also, Prabhuji, Sanatan Goswami?
No, it came to a logical stop. After that, logical stop, when I say it's not actual stop, but it's a logical stop. Because after that, what happens is, Chaitanya Prabhu, next 200 slokas, he will talk about the science of devotional service.
Okay.
So, maybe another time we will do. This part was mainly to cover the section where Sanatana Goswami took so much endeavors and hardships to come and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was the main idea of Gaura Purnima time. Maybe I'm just thinking now that you're asking on Guru Purnima day, which is the appearance day of appearance or disappearance. I think it's appearance. Guru Purnima day, appearance day of Sanatana Goswami. Maybe on that day we can read the teachings Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. There is one more section where Sanatana Goswami meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Puri. That can also be done. And I think this Guru Purnima also comes somewhere around the Rath Yatra time only, I think. Maybe we can combine those now that you are inspiring us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You have that section.
Hare
Thank you, Mukherjee. Thank you so much. So nice. Any other questions, comments from anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Yes, Mukherjee. It's a long time.
Yeah, Prabhu, I was hearing offline YouTube videos. I couldn't connect on Saturdays because of the work and all. And I was.
Now it is holidays for you, huh?
No, Prabhu, I have quitted my job.
Oh, quit.
So,
Okay.
so I was. So today, very peaceful mind. I was able to listen, and this recorded sessions also, like many times I was able to play. It's very useful actually. I was particularly struck with Vichar session 43, where you were talking about connection with Krishna. I don't know how many times I have heard, but I keep on hearing. That's my favorite part actually.
You don't know how these things inspire others, because that is the beauty of Krishna. When we speak, it just we speak, but then as Krishna is getting recorded these days, I don't know. I forgot what I spoke in that part. I have to probably.
You were talking about, you were asking one question about how many of you realize when you eat prasadam that you are getting association with Krishna. So after hearing that, whenever I see prasadam, I remember Krishna. I remember that phrase because we were in a hurry to always, eat and go. So after that, for whatever I do, I try to recollect those session because I was hearing for many times that it really struck me. Uh, because I was not able to, without breaking, I was not able to hear. Even on Wednesdays also, whatever timings evening, I was busy with my daughter's annual exams and all those things, which I was not able to connect with you. But I think now after this, I will be able to
nowadays what we are
attend the
doing
live
is
sessions.
Prabhupada's Paranams we are doing on Sunday evenings.
Okay.
Around 7:30 to 8:30 like that. And this Saturday mornings we kept it fixed at 10:30 to 11:30 as much as possible.
Yeah.
Unless and until I travel or I have other classes there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was
Nice
nice,
to see
Prabhu.
you.
Online
Nice to
or
see you.
online or offline, it's equally potential, I think. I
Yeah,
was
but I
able
miss you all
to.
online, you know.
Yeah, Prabhu. I was thinking for a very long time, how will I able to be connect to the, live session. I was waiting eagerly when I will join. But Krishna willing it, I was able to connect today
See,
after
we
long
have
time. Was
Suchandra Prabhu joining from Nottingham 6 o'clock in the morning. Krishna is merciful to him now. The time changed, so he has 1 extra hour, so he can take
Oh
little
yes,
extra
it has made a difference.
but
Devotees
there
are
are
very
very
kind.
few points when now we are in hearing live session also, sometimes we overlook some of the points continuously hearing, but when we do the hear the recording back again, no, there are some points which etches in our heart. So I keep forwarding again and again, and I will one particular point I'll try to reflect
You're
and
teaching a lot to
at
me,
least
Mataji. I should do the
no,
same thing
Prabhu.
for Maharaj
I am
lecture
not.
and Maharaj.
I'm not continuously
I do
reading
to some
also.
time. I also keep Maharaj lecture in my that app in that favorites, no? And then every day I keep repeating that at least 15, 20 times minimum. We should listen to each lecture of our spiritual masters. And I used to do that in spiritual purpose lectures when I was in the US. But I'm focusing more on purpose books these days. Yeah, right from then also books were the primary thing. And apart from that, Maharaj services are also there, so it keeps me engaged, listening to the senior Vaishnavas. You know.
Thank you so
So,
much,
nice,
Prabhu.
Mataji. Very
Sometimes,
nice to hear. We hope to have your association more
yeah,
often.
sometimes when I read that particular verse, for example, 1:5, I mean the whatever verses, Narada Muni verses, sometimes we will over through. Like we just read and we go. But when when you read and you give the importance, that's when I realize, oh, this has these many points to discuss and all. So individual reading is
That's why
also
Maharaj is
stressed, but
saying, yeah, that's why Maharaj is saying in this this lecture transcription also, no, that the seriousness means read word by word, each word, don't miss any words. So
we
go to the
read, Prabhu,
Sanskrit.
but that we didn't realize that importance. But when it is discussed among the Vaishnavas, that's where I internally, see that okay, this has these many
even
different
I don't
versions.
get realizations if I'm sitting alone and thinking. When I'm with you all, only something comes out. And that
Thank
is
you
why
so much,
Prabhupada has
Prabhu.
created this Sangha, right?
Yeah.
For all of us to come together. And I'm hearing that somewhere I heard that some virus is coming which is 100 times more powerful than corona. So maybe I'm looking forward to more of social distancing. What do they call this? What is the other one they said? Social distancing, and the other thing is isolation. What is that? They said some word for that. They kept using that often. But now Corona is gone, we forgot the term. So, yeah.
Social distancing is usually the word we use.
Yeah, but the other one, like, they are, what do they say? Isolated. When you're isolated, and once you are getting Corona, you have to be isolated.
That quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah. So you don't know what is going to happen. Better to take advantage of the association of devotees like this, or in person whenever possible. Thank you, Mataji. such nice
Thank you, Prabhu.
realization.
Thank you so much.
Happy to hear from you. Anyone else before we close? K.C. Das. Who is K.C. Das? I don't know. Seems like a known name. It's not me for sure. I know Kishore Chandra Das, but I don't think he joins Kishore. Anyway, so we will. Who's that? K.C. Das? Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sridhar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. To speak, but not sure. Subhashini Mataji, yes, Mataji, you raised your hand.
Yes, Prabhuji. One more thing I would like to say, as you said that demigods are also glorious. In third canto, 28th chapter, the yogis, they meditate on the Supreme Lord. In that it is said that Lord Shiva, he holds that water that emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and in that way, as he is holding, he is more glorious. He is glorious, but as he holds the water, he is more glorious because that is the Ganga water that emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. Very
So how when we glorify the Supreme Lord in this way, then the devotee also, they become very glorious.
Yes. There is one particular chapter, Descent of the River Ganges. In that, there are a few prayers by Lord Shiva. So best verses to meditate on. Bhaje Bhajanya Rana Pada Pankajam. It's a beautiful set of slokas. We'll read that another time. But you know the chapters, it's in the 50th canto. I think around 23, 24 chapter will come, Descent of the River Ganges. So there some beautiful prayers by Lord Shiva and Krishna is there. So you can get on that.
And one more thing you were saying about the oral reception, Prabhuji, that when we read, and same thing when we contemplate about that shloka, the same thing goes on lingering in our mind. That is what you said, it's contemplation. Some 2-3 words only will strike us, not in the Kunti prayers we can see Akinchana Goram, and all the some words like and those words, some 2-3 words only it will strike us. That is what is contemplation, Prabhuji. Or when we hear all that.
The 2-3 words are striking you because you have read it a few times. If you read more and more, then more words will strike you.
Oh, okay.
So the number of words striking you depends on the number of times you go through it and
we read sincerely when we read it. Okay.
Serious scrutinizing study. Yeah. Okay. Not just skim reading.
So this means it's the starting point that we are reading now, at least.
Yeah. So the few words, one word where you take, you can throw newer and newer realization because it's not simply the words, Mataji. It is also the word-to-word meanings that Prabhupada is giving in English. On top of it, the translations will have some phrases like we discussed in this 1540, also a few points. Still some more are pending. We haven't done that. And then the purport also, you see there are some nice points that came out from the book. So each one of them will combine together into a beautiful thing. So it's not only the words, Sanskrit words that you remember. It's also the English phrases from the translation, the purports that you remember. That also adds to the realization. See?
Okay, thank you.
And that will add to your original thing. Let's say, for example, this Krishna Vasudeva, there are only 5 names of Krishna. So we can go from the word-to-word meaning and the purport and all that. Then Maharaj gave a beautiful realization, which is not in any of these things. But it is a output of reading all these things in combination. What is that? Maharaj told, in this one sloka, the entire 10th canto of Krishna, Vyasadeva has put inside. If you take each names of Krishna only, all the 90 chapters past tense will be included within this one verse. It's a beautiful realization. You see? So, like that, few things will emanate from each of these slokas. Only thing is, spend some time, spend some little time, spend sufficient time. Don't think about next verse is there, so many chapters are there, so many places. No. Let this be my only concentration for now. So that is how it goes. The Prabhuji's cooking is so tasty because even though he's cooking for so many people, because his focus is fully on there. You will go and give him the phone or this or that. At that time, he will not bother about all those things, right? So when our focus is fully there, somebody is doing deity worship, and your focus is fully there, then your service will be very much recognizable. That's the whole point. So nice, Mataji. But one thing we should be sure about is that we should not feel disappointed that, oh, I only got 2-3 verses. Nor we should feel elated that, hey, I got 2-3 verses. I got 2-3 verses, but I should have the eagerness to, okay, let me see some more. Let me see some more. Yeah, naturally, these things will keep falling in place. So it's all about how much pure my motive is. Purity of sincerity of purpose, as Prabhupada says many times. That am I doing this for its cheap name and fame? Am I doing this for some fan following and all these things? Or am I doing it for just pleasing Krishna? So that is where all these things sit in place. I remember once when I was traveling with Maharaj in the US, I told him, Upalabdha Paratma Kashtaha. This is the phrase for there, like the realization of the absolute truth, ultimate realization of the absolute truth, something like that is a key. So I told Maharaj, this is a nice phrase, Maharaj. He said, no, but you should not stop with the phrase, he said. He said, you should develop a conceptual understanding behind that phrase. And that's when he taught me this thing by heart. He said, 1 to 12, you take that. There is a definition of your devotional service, best definition of devotional service is there. That's where that, devotional service based on the foreground of full knowledge, that full statement is there. So like this, Prabhupada will throw little things here and there. We should just take those, like that naked desires, for example. Right? Those are all things where he will just Prabhupada will simply simply show us that, man, how much ever you dig, this is like what is a treasure hunt. How much ever you dig deeper, till more and more you go, the more and more it will come. There is no end to it at all. I remember that particular phrase, that 115:21 purport. Many years ago, we read it with His Holiness Ganapati Maharaj. I did not give so much focus on it before reading with him. When I read with him, he said, every time I read this purport, I see that I have not reached the end of it. There is still something more. There's still something more. And he has read it so many times before. And then we read that particular verse for at least minimum 5 years. That purport alone. And especially that 2-3 lines alone. And he kept telling, goading us, there's something more here. And then we were asking questions, we were discussing. So much was there in that one line. So whenever I come across this is real magic of Prabhupada, I think. One other side, yes, he's doing all these other things also, like the external part of it, but the internalization of Krishna consciousness through Prabhupada's purports and writings, that is simply the biggest magic, I would say. Because you go to there and you see this is not the end, some more is there. We thought that this is the end, but it is not there. Something more is coming. And that happens with the Sangha, serious sadhu Sangha. So never be worried about it. Oh, there's some more. When will I get it? No, don't think like that. When you keep doing it, next time, suppose say after 2-3 months you read the prayers again, I bet it you will get some more nice realizations. Some more nice points will come. So you make the logical, conceptual understanding of that particular point. Akinchana Gochara means don't some say simply Akinchana Gochara. Think of all the related aspects to Akinchana Gochara. Akinchana Gochara means wandering. Akinchana means no desires at all. So Akinchana Gochara. There is the Twam Akinchana Gochara. You are the wealth of those who are impoverished, wealth of those who have stopped desiring anything. See, there is a beautiful thing. Akinchana Gochara technically means one who has stopped material desires. But Prabhupada has written there impoverished, materially impoverished. So why Prabhupada is saying like that? Think over it. What is the connection between these two? Why Prabhupada saying Akishana Kocharam, one meaning and one place another meaning? Both are actually related, but they are different sides of the same coin. But there, in one place, that is the way it is. It makes sense more closer to the meaning that Prabhupada wanted to bring out. Here, another meaning is the best thing that is the closest. So, like this, we have to relish and enjoy the thing. So nice, Mataji. I really appreciate all of you. I'm sorry I took a bit more time. Whenever you talk about Prabhupada's purpose, I forget the time. I forget that you are also getting delayed. Thank you so much. We'll stop here. So nice of you all. We'll probably see tomorrow evening. I will let you know the timing, just depending on the other programs. But we'll have the session tomorrow. Krishna for Prabhupada's Smarana. Jai Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Srila Gurudev ki, Jai Vaishnava ki, Jai Gopam Nandi, Hari Hari Bo, Panchapati Lavishra, Kripa Sindhu Vaishnavati Tana. Ki Jai. Thank you so much.